We are taught to see the world as a finished product, a static history set in stone. But what if the world isn't a monument, but a design? To understand the present, we have to dismantle the systems that built it. This is Architect Archives. Hello, and welcome back to Architect Archives. Today on Architect Archives, we are going to be discussing some of history's greatest minds for the last 200 years. Let's get it. So, the first guy that I'm going to start off with is J. Robert Oppenheimer. Y'all know Oppenheimer, right? The creator of the atomic bomb. Boom. So this man, despite what he created, was absolutely brilliant. Okay, but you want to know what he believed in and quote? Let me tell you, he quoted the Bhagavad Gita. I might have said that wrong, which is ancient Sanskrit text twice publicly. Okay, and you can go back and look that up. It's ancient text from an ancient poem. Then, when asked if the Alamogordo nuclear test was the first of its kind, he answered yes in modern times. Now, why would he say that? Why would he say that after studying some of the oldest text on Earth? Makes you wonder, right? I know. This was between 1933 and 1945. So again, he studied the Vedic text, and you should read that too. Let me show you. Hold on. This is like the simplest copy. You can get this almost anywhere, honestly, but you can also find the full PDF online, Amazon, etc. Vedic text, ancient Sanskrit, very important. And you need the translation unless you go find a yogi. But okay, on to the next one. This dapper fellow, one of my favorites, Nikola Tesla, famous for the development of the polyphase, the alternating current systems that remain the global standard today, by the way. So that's over 100 years old. Uh, and he was really big and really important in the development of energy. He also was really famous for promoting free energy. He built this big tower where he had some metal in the ground, several hundred feet under, metal in the air, several hundred feet over, made a battery. Then all of a sudden, randomly, he died. So he died, and then interestingly enough, Donald Trump's uncle, who was working with the FBI at the time, is the one who came with him and his group and cleared out Tesla's whole hotel room when he died. And they said something about a death rate, but they know good and dang on well that's not what Tesla was engineering. Anyway, look at the architecture on this tower. Doesn't it look familiar? And this was in the early 1900s. And he wanted everybody to have free energy. And he would have gotten away with it too if it was this asshole of a founding father who famously remarked, "But if it's free, how can we meter it?" You can look that up too. And it's funny. He pulled Tesla's funding, right? And then eventually, shortly after that, he died. Mysterious. Well, I think it was a heart attack. It's always a heart attack, isn't it? Anyway, he studied Vedic text and atmospheric energy. Very interesting. Next up, we this dude, Werner von Braun, otherwise known as the father of space travel, who repeatedly said we cannot take credit for our record advancement in certain scientific fields alone. We have been helped. When people asked him about that, he said that he was referring to the people of other worlds. Okay, so why the man who made space travel possible openly acknowledged that they were helped, obviously by something other than humans, or to just humans from a different world, dimension, or time frame. So he studied space travel and returned to other worlds, amongst other things, oftentimes more often than he did his actual inventions. So that's pretty interesting. Makes you think, doesn't it? I know. Hold on, because I know it's not. I know it's Isaac Newton, famous for discovering the four laws of motion, universal gravitation, inventor of calculus, optics, and the nature of light. Great guy. You all studied him. You all learned about him in school, did you not? You did. Well, I bet you didn't tell you that he believed in a sacred wisdom that had been revealed to the ancients that was lost and corrupted. He deeply studied sacred geometry and ancient temples, and and often stated his discoveries were actually rediscoveries of truths ancient people already know. Now keep in mind, this was a long time ago. This was like 1665, right? And on, I think, until he died, if I remember correctly. Why would he say that? Why would he say that? Okay, look, I'm getting too deep into it. Let me move on to the next person. Yeah, this guy. This is Sir Francis Bacon. Right? He is the father of the scientific method and former Lord High Chancellor of Great Britain. He served, under King James the First. Yes, that King James the First. The very same King James the First who authorized the new Protestant Bible to be written. That same one, yes. He wrote several books, actually, besides the scientific method, which was, hold on, excuse my language, De Sapientia Veterum, which means wisdom of the ancients, and Novum Organum, which means new tool in Latin. He believed that ancient myths were really coded technical manuals for scientific principles over time, right? He also sanctioned the new Atlantis of what life should be like, and I'm not gonna lie to you, he is not wrong. You can go look that up. That's actually really interesting. Okay, but he studied the ancients. He studied, and he probably knew more ancients than we knew now, honestly, because so much stuff has been covered up time and time again, covered up and discovered and covered up and discovered. Anyway, Sir Francis Bacon, I would like to say eventually he did fall from disgrace because of some stuff that he said he did. I don't think he had access. You know what? It doesn't even matter. Sir Francis Bacon, he's the father of a lot of science. He is the reason why a lot of science is the way it is today. So, wrap your mind around that. Next up on the list we have, yes, Michael Faraday. Excuse me. He invented the electric generator, the motor, the Faraday cage, etc. He worked with electromagnetic induction, diamagnetism, etc. He's also, once again, one of our greatest little scientific minds. Without him, we wouldn't be able to see and know and do a lot of things. What's interesting, though, is that he believed that light, heat, and electricity were all different vibrations of the ether. And I know a lot of y'all don't know about the ether because they stopped teaching about ether in school about 110 years ago. But he was also, which is not often, deeply religious. So put those two together. His work often mirrored geometric patterns found in ancient symbols of power. Okay, like ancient temples, ancient jewelry, and he was able to figure out how to use the same method, the same shapes, the same geometry, sacred geometry, to create power, which again is why we have the electric generator, the motor, the Faraday cage, etc., etc., etc. Really religious, very smart, fully connected. He's cool in my book. Now this guy, everybody should know this guy. This is Carl Jung, pioneering Swiss psychiatrist and psychotherapist, and founded analytical psychology. So, really important. Important contributions made in this day and age. He believed in a unitary world where physics and the human mind were one. So basically, there was no difference. Anything that can be done with physics can be done with the human mind, right? Balance, anybody? He studied ancient alchemy, manipulating reality through symbols and resonance, kind of like this, which he actually drew himself in his red book. So this is one of his mandalas, which I'm not gonna lie to you, admittedly looks very cool. He believed ancients understood how to align with the universe's timing, which modern times have forgotten with all of our excess and our new technology. We've forgotten the real technology. So that's interesting, right? Anywho, this young man is quite interesting, and I'm going to try my hardest not to butcher his name. Srinivasa Ramanujan. Yeah, I really hope I said that right. He was born in 1887 and he died in 1920. He made substantial contributions to mathematical analysis, number theory, infinite series, and continued fractions. All in all, he was one of the greatest mathematicians ever. The really fascinating part about him is he had no training, and he made modern breakthroughs in math that were pre-existing truths given to him by the goddess Namagiri. Again, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. And these mathematical breakthroughs would not even be able to be proven by anybody else for decades after the fact. All the way up until recently, honestly, in the last 50 years. And again, he was born in the 1800s. So that's really cool. And again, once again, he stated that the math that he was creating, coming up with, spouting out, was nothing new. It was just being recycled from ancient times. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay, on to the next one. I actually thought you guys might want to see. This is the goddess Namagiri Thayer. This was his inspiration. Okay, on to the next one for real now. This is Vitruvius, an ancient man. He wrote 10 books on architecture, and in his books, he often spoke about resonance, about how building materials and sound matter. He spoke of technology in his time, like advanced cranes, war machines, water pumps, bioclimatic designs, all types of knowledge that was present and relevant during his time. I'm not sure if he created it, but what's interesting is most of it was lost for hundreds of years until the Middle Ages, right around the time of Da Vinci, which is around the time when he used Vitruvian's writings, who again, he believed the human body's proportions should serve as a model for architectural symmetry and design. So, The Vitruvian Man by Leonardo da Vinci, who studied Vitruvius, which is fascinating beyond fascinating. Vitruvius was born around 80 to 70 BC. That was his timeline. Very smart. And he knew about the ancients. He studied the ancients. That is so fascinating. Ancient people studied other ancient people and then wrote about the ancient people, plus the stuff that was going on in their time for us. And most people don't even know or read it. Moving on. This is Buckminster Fuller. He is the inventor of the geodesic dome and the Dymaxion car. He believed in the Great Pirates, which was an ancient group of pirates that possessed advanced knowledge of global navigation, mathematics, and mapping, kind of like the Piri Reis map. He believed in syntropy, where the universe was inherently ordered, like everything had its place, time, order, etc. He believed ancient architectures are comprehensive designs science is just starting to understand and figure out. That, I'm telling you, those structures aren't here for no reason. Great man, great man. On to the next one. Alright, so this was the pirate theory that Buckminster Buckminster Fuller believed in. And as you can see, it's kind of, you know what? It kind of makes sense when you look at all the scarcity in different places where it was abundant at, the trade routes, uh, the puppets. It all makes sense. Yeah. So there's that one, and then let me show you this. Hold on. I was able to find some photos, kind of what the Brahmastra would have looked like, and that one might be a little bit more realistic. And these can all be found in the Vedas. So much information in there dating back to ancient times. It meant everything worked together, everything had its purpose, nothing was left alone, basically. We all ran off the same rhythm, and this was just basically before the Bible, thousands of years before the Bible, this was the Bible. This is what people who wanted to ascend, they wanted to be like Jesus, they wanted to be like Buddha, they wanted to be one, they wanted to be like their ancestors. This is what they studied. This is also, like I said, Tesla, Carl Jung, a couple other people. This is what they studied. Isaac Newton, I believe this is what gave us some of the greatest scientific inventions that we have today. These are some machines as described by Vitruvius. Now remember, Vitruvius was the one who wrote the 10 books on architecture. He wrote about resonance, the lost tech, and he also wrote about these advanced cranes, war machines, water pumps, etc. that were prevalent during his time. So these are just some examples of what he was talking about. Honestly, it's pretty cool, but that's not even the coolest thing I have to show you. Hold on. So this bad boy, one of the, I think it was Oppenheimer and Isaac Newton, they liked looking at myths like they were source code, basically. Like they were hidden in plain sight. Everything's always hidden in plain sight. It's always been hidden in plain sight. So this is essentially what Zeus's thunderbolt. This is what they were talking about in ancient mythology. I love it. And this is what our greatest scientists, psychologists, analysts, inventors, this is what they studied. They don't teach that in school anymore, man. It's fascinating. The Vedas again, and again, you can find this on Amazon, I believe, the English translation. I would definitely recommend this book. It is most excellent. That's all for today. But until next time, keep researching, keep learning, keep driving. Until next time, at Architect Archives.